You're live.
All right, good afternoon, everybody in Round Rock ISD and beyond. This is Ryan Smith here with the Professional Development Department, and we're joined today by Mario Acosta and Courtney Acosta. Mario is principal of Hernandez Middle School, and Courtney is the principal of McNeil High School. And they were recently at a conference in Colorado with the Marzano Institute. And I just want to do a quick debrief with them about how it went, you know, what they learned, what they're bringing back to their campus, and maybe something different they're doing this year than they did last year. So without any further ado, I'm going to turn it over to them. Let Courtney go first, ladies first. Kind of introduce yourself. Tell us some of the big things going on maybe on your campus and what you learned at that conference.
Okay, great. First of all, there were some amazing presenters there, namely from Hernandez Middle School and a lot of other schools that came together about the high reliability school framework. And part of it was kind of an introduction to the framework and really what it can do to provide some guidance in improving your school as a whole unit. And it looks at 5 different levels of school improvement. And for us, we're really looking just starting at the base level at level 1. And as a team, because I took my whole administration team, it was a really great opportunity for us because we're a very new team to be together, a very young team. And so not only was it great learning for everybody on the team, but we were also afforded the opportunity to bond kind of away from the school environment. And so that was really critical for us all together. And so we were really appreciative that we could all go together and learn from other schools who have been a little further along than where we are. But the biggest takeaway that we have from the experience in terms of school improvement is really looking at how we're going to increase our accountability within our PLCs and what that will actually look like in practice. So.
Sure. How about Mario? What are some of your takeaways?
Yeah, absolutely. Courtney hit the nail on the head in that the high reliability framework that Dr. Marzano produced. Courtney and I actually first came across this framework at the PLC Leadership Summit in 2013. So this is a fairly new framework, and the neat thing about it is Dr. Marzano has taken all of his works up to this point, and all they've done is kind of organized it into these different levels, as Courtney mentioned. The powerful part for school leaders is that it presents almost, it's not quite a checklist, but if you're thinking like, hey, if I'm sitting as the principal, this framework gives me some indicators to make sure that I'm, that I am keeping track of and that we are monitoring, and if we are able to monitor these indicators, then we know we have a successful organization. So, at Hernandez, we began the journey, in my first year, last school year, and so, we've been focusing on level 1, which deals with a safe environment and a collaborative environment. I have to echo what Courtney said. The summit that we were at last week, the most powerful component of that for us is that it brings together, there were about 300 participants from several different countries and states all over the United States. So it was a big PLC, if you will, which is I think what the Marzano Lab is trying to create with this setup of just bringing other educators together and sharing ideas on this framework. So powerful sharing of ideas with a bunch of different people.
Very good. I know that PLC, and really looking at and examining and being more accountable with our PLCs is something that I hear a lot when talking with principals and other leaders around the district. Maybe just one or two things that you picked up at that summit that maybe you're going to do differently going into this coming school year in regards to looking at the PLCs on your campus.
We've talked about, as an admin team, I know Hernandez is doing a lot of this now. For us at McNeil, we're starting the conversations about exactly what artifacts we're going to review from our teachers. And so what kind of things are we going to have them even present to us, like if we have an admin team meeting, and something again stolen from Hernandez, but if we have an admin team meeting and then we bring those PLCs in to present their data, to present what they've done to move forward in terms of interventions for students that aren't grasping the content, to show us what they're doing differently and what they're learning from each other in terms of instruction. But if we have those conversations with each PLC, even twice a semester, that's a lot more than we've been doing in the past. And so we're really excited to start that process. But it's things like that that we've been able to steal from other schools that, like Mario said, that it really was an awesome collaborative conference where we can truly learn from each other and take those ideas and beg, borrow, and steal from each other. So I think for us that's the big two, is looking at artifacts and what those are going to be, and then having the PLCs have an opportunity to present to the admin team what they're learning and how they're growing together.
Excellent. And Mario, I know you actually presented one of the sessions at the summit, so I know we always want to celebrate our principals when they're going off to conferences, and sharing the knowledge that we have here in Round Rock and we've picked up in other places too. So can you just briefly tell us a little bit about the session you presented and kind of the feedback and reception that you got?
Absolutely. And thank you, Courtney, for the compliments. But just to say, a lot of the pieces that we've been able to implement at Hernandez were things that we began our work at Round Rock High School 4 or 5 years ago, and it's just been kind of a growing, endeavor since that point. But what we presented at the conference last week, my administrators and myself, a lot of what Courtney talked about, but the scope of what we presented on was the fact that the most powerful way that the framework has helped us at Hernandez is that it has helped us create a campus improvement plan that actually has been a living document that helps us monitor our work throughout the school year. At multiple campuses I've been on before as an administrator, you take the time to write a quality campus improvement plan, but oftentimes it ends up on the shelf, and you get to the quote-unquote real work after that. And what the framework helped me do last year as a new principal was, and I told this story at my presentation, I said, okay, I got the job, and I sat down in the chair, and I felt like a little kid sitting in my dad's chair. It was this giant chair, and I said, okay, now what do I do now that I'm sitting here? So at that moment, I opened up the book, this high reliability framework book, and I said, okay, if this is what's supposed to be in place in high-quality schools, let me start building this. And literally wrote the CIP that aligns directly with all the different indicators inside of the framework. So what we presented on as an administration was how we let this framework guide our CIP. And the big addition, for us has been this idea of collecting artifacts. Courtney mentioned it. What do you do along the way to monitor that what you said you wanted to have happen actually happens? So PLCs is one part of it. A lot of it has to do with our curricular study, our instructional delivery. So all kinds of different things that are in the framework, and we've been able to write our CIP to align to this framework, and then collect artifacts from all different areas of the organization to monitor the CIP as we went. So now that's what we presented on, was how do you write a CIP aligned to the framework. And I know what it did for us at Hernandez was it was the most useful CIP I've ever interacted with, just because we tied it to this framework. So that was the topic that we talked about over at the summit. It was well received. I had people, it seemed that other leaders were interested in it because they kept, and that's the only, I told Courtney at the summit, you don't know how it goes. You're up there talking, and we were in the grand ballroom and we did our speech, and then you get down and you're like, I don't know if that was good or not good or what. People came up over the conference saying, thank you for sharing that. So I guess we got that good feedback from other participants.
Well, excellent. Sounds like you guys had an excellent conference and learned a lot. Before we sign off, just quickly, what was the best part about going to Colorado? I know getting out of Austin in the summertime is always fun. So we want to hear how it was in other states. So how was Colorado?
Colorado was amazing. The weather was great. We had a couple little rain showers, but there is a really great little rooftop gathering place downtown that my team was able to take advantage of, and that was a blast, and we did some excellent team bonding.
Excellent. You guys were in Denver, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Mario, were you a fan as well? Good trip?
Oh, absolutely. The weather was beautiful. They kept apologizing to us, going, oh, we're sorry there's not more sun. And we go, look, we get plenty of sun in July. We like what you got here. For me, the neatest part of being over there was because we had an opportunity to present. Courtney and I got invited to Dr. Marzano's home in Denver. So the night before the conference started, we were sitting in his living room, just hanging out with some of the other presenters and Dr. Marzano, and that was kind of a once-in-a-lifetime kind of cool thing to be sitting at the guy's house. So that was the neat thing for me that went on over there.
We may have some selfies from Dr. Marzano's house in random places. I'm just saying.
Yeah, we'll send you. You can put them up on the PD stuff.
We will. We'll keep an eye out for that. Those will be popular. All right. Well, thank you guys. I don't want to keep you too long. I know we're all heading off, getting ready for a 3-day weekend. Hopefully, everybody can relax a little bit before the school year gets really cranked up again. And I'll be getting maybe a few artifacts too from Mario and Courtney from their conference. I'll put together a shared folder, and they can share some stuff with the rest of the district. Around August, I'm going to be putting out a post that's going to be a debrief of a lot of the conferences that Round Rock ISD administrators went to this summer. So be on the lookout for that. And then we have a big group going to the IB World Conference, I believe at the end of next week. So we'll be doing some vicarious PD from that as well. If you're watching this live, we're also going to be showcasing some CTE teachers who are presenting at a conference next week in Fort Worth, I believe. So stay tuned for other stuff going on this summer, and want to thank you all for joining us, and especially thank you, Courtney and Mario. You guys have a great weekend.
Thanks for having me.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Bye. All right, Mark, you can log us off.